What? No, man, no. Somebody gotta be hitting my stash. I know I have more than this, man. I ain't tripping. What up, what up, what up? We are back. Who am I? Jersey Street Corner, and this is the Prison Talk Show, people. So let's get into it. Now, y'all saw the thumbnail, y'all saw the title. And today, we're gonna talk about it. Protecting your stash in prison. And first, let me start off by saying, no, for all you dirty-minded people in the comments, I'm not talking about a prison purse. No, I'm talking about a real stash. Now, first, I guess you have to understand what a stash is. A stash is anything deemed illegal, contraband that an inmate might possibly have and not want to get caught with. Therefore, out of necessity, a stash is made. It don't matter where the stash is. It don't matter how disgusting the stash is. If it works, it works. If you can find a spot that the COs will not search, then you just hit jackpot. And shoot, after a couple of successful raids and you still have your belongings, inmates will even pay you to stash their stuff with yours. Now, of course, you gotta think about that before you do that. Whose stuff are you stashing? Are they dangerous? This and that. Unless you got a disclaimer that, hey, whatever happens, happens. I can't guarantee nothing. And then still, if you took the stuff and hid it, they still gonna be looking at you funny. So I wouldn't take nothing, hide nothing for nobody. That's just me, my advice. But don't listen to me, y'all. I've only been there. If y'all want to go to prison and stash stuff for other people, go right ahead. Just make sure it turns up after every raid. Now, when you're building a stash, and yes, I said building, you need materials. And, well, listen, y'all, I'm not going to sit here and tell y'all exactly all the stashes that were made and constructed in prison. But I will say this. I am going to give you one that's a well-known one that's been busted, that plenty of prisons have found things already in and they know about it. So don't come for me on that one. But I will say this. You know how, I don't know if anybody ever been in the hood and you go to the supermarket or Walmart or whatever, and you in the parking lot, and some dude will just pull up on you real quick with a pickup truck, and he got all types of tools and materials in the back, and he'll see a little dent in the back of your car or something or whatever, and he'll be like, hey, yo, I could fix that real quick for you, $60. You know what I mean? I paint it and everything, get it back right. You be looking good before you done your shopping. And you be like, all right, bet. And you thinking like, damn, I wasn't going to take that to the body shop. That was going to cost mad bread. Shit like that. So, these are the type of dudes that are locked up. They got skills. They can build like Robo-Blocks. So when it comes to building a stash, you never know what and where they're going to make a stash. Anything could become a stash when you got somebody talented enough to craft it. Now, a lot of people in the prison was doing a lot of illegal things. And having a stash was crucial If you didn't have a stash, you risk getting time added on to your sentence and getting your product taken by the COs or somebody else. So when you had a stash, you treated it like gold. You made sure that nobody knew where it was. You made sure that it was well guarded. Like that you had eyes on it at all times. Now sometimes you had to get a stash that you couldn't keep eyes on. And it was just, closing your eyes and putting it in God's hands. I hope my stuff will be alright. And some guys depended on this stash to survive in prison, y'all. Now, I know what y'all thinking. Well, they in prison because they messed up on the streets. And they still doing crime in prison. Yeah, y'all. But what does that tell you? That sometimes crime has to pay the bills. And don't let that fly over your head. Don't even think about it too hard. But some of these guys, they had to push the pills. They had to push the fent. They had to push the dog food and the old white girl. And, they had to push the gas. And they had to push that because they had to survive. So, ain't nobody gonna judge them for doing what they had to do. They didn't force it on nobody, and people came willingly to purchase. Now, one spot that a lot of people got caught up using because it was a quick spot. If you was in a pinch, you can get it open quick enough if you had a few fingernails or if you had a little, piece of metal, something that you could unscrew some screws with. The vent on the air conditioning unit, which is normally more toward the ceiling. Now, you could open that up and you could stuff that with a whole bunch of stuff. Only problem is they was already on that. So you taking a chance with that. That one right there was one of the lower tier stash spots. That was definitely out of necessity. Now, another spot that a lot of people had to use in raids or it was normally just used in raids because this process, if you was going to use it, all right, first of all, if you was going to use this process, you had to be hiding something like a cell phone or a good amount of work that was going to grant 10, 15 extra years on top of your sentence. Because this was pretty disgusting. A lot of guys that had that much stuff that they had to hold down, they would shit in the bag for days. Every day when they go to the bathroom, instead of the toilet, they're shit in the bag. So, if it was a raid coming, if it was a raid about to happen, they'd stuff all of their stuff in a clean bag, put 2 or 3 locks in the bag, combination locks, because they're nice and heavy. Get the bag airtight, rubber bands, and sink it to the bottom of the toilet. And then, y'all, diabolical. They'll take that bag of shit that they've been shitting in for the last 3 weeks and dump it right in that toilet as soon as they start talking about a raid. And yeah, what you think gonna happen? Get in the comment box, y'all. If you was a correctional officer, what would you do if you was raiding that inmate's room and you walked in and seen a whole bunch of shit in the toilet bowl? And he getting up off it like, I was just taking shit, officer. What would you do? Would you stick your hand in that bowl to investigate? Would you be nosy and want to see if that's really what he got going on over there? Or would you just say, damn, it smells horrible in this cell and keep it moving? Let me know, y'all. Get in the comment box. What would you do if you was that correctional officer? Now, normally that trick worked. Because like I said, it smelled awful, it looked awful. So if they came into that cell, the most they would do is maybe write you up for a disciplinary cleanliness because you just nasty. You need some therapy or something. Clean this room up. Now in prison, there are many places that can become an easy stash box, but you have to think to yourself: is this easy enough for anybody to find? You gotta almost think outside of the box. Whether you stashing something in the day room, in the lunchroom, the yard, the law library, there's many places that you could pick to stash something. It's how you stash it is what's gonna make the difference. So a lot of people, tried the cutout book thing. That worked for a little while. They figured that out. But there's still some very good spots in the law library that I will not be disclosing. The lunchroom. Now, the lunchroom is a great spot to stash stuff. If you are actually a worker in the lunchroom, it's even better. Now, once you get to know the outside workers, the free workers that you're working with, and you know their habits, what they gonna do, what they not gonna do, you will know what cabinets they're not gonna go into, where they're not gonna touch. You'll know exactly the movements that these people are gonna make, and you can make your own assumptions of the places that you can hide contraband in the kitchen. So what I'm saying is, if you had a job in the prison, it was more likely that you had a stash somewhere, else besides your pod, because you had movement. You went to the mess hall, you went to the library, you went to your workplace. So when you got movement in the prison, now you can start making a network. And your network makes your net worth. And all you got to do is keep on pumping. But you got to keep that product hidden by any means necessary. So you start hiring outside help. And you got people stashing work all over the prison for you. You got the prison pretty much locked down in the terms of, let's just say, distribution. And it's almost like Frank White said, if a nickel bag sold around here, I want in. You got your hands in on everything. And well, that always comes with a cost. So let me tell you a story about one inmate named Old Man Rufus and another inmate named OG Bobby J. OG Bobby J was a shot caller, big baller in the prison. I'm talking about big commissary bags. This guy was a heavy spender. He on the games, he's betting. He ain't giving up. He down there gambling, win, lose, or draw. Because OG Bobby J got that bread. Well, everybody knew he was a big time pusher in the prison. He been doing it for years. You needed something? Go see him. He had that X, them P's, He had that gas if you wanted to burn something. He was your guide to that realm. Now, being such a big cat, he wasn't dumb enough to have stuff stashed up in his cell. So he made sure that he had stuff stashed in the day room. Now, he had a lot of good spots, y'all. A lot of good spots. I can't even lie. I don't know most of the spots that he had. I just know one spot that he had that was found out. And now, this is where it gets crazy. You got somebody pushing food in prison. Dog food, y'all. That's that big H. H-bomb, that lean dozy. I ain't gonna keep telling y'all what it's all about in prison, man. People are trying to get by and survive by any means necessary. And yes, they will pay triple their worth for an outside joint than an inside. If you get my drift. Anyway, let's not stray from the topic, y'all. Please, y'all gotta stop doing that to me. Please stop getting me off topic. Anyway, now, in the prison, it didn't matter, who you was, or unless you was gonna have that shit graffitied with your name on it, which you wasn't allowed to do, it was fair game. So if nobody was around and they saw you stash your stuff and somebody came back and took all your stuff, and just charge it to the game, man. That's just part of the game. You just took a chance stashing it out in the open like that. It is what it is. So one day, OG Bobby J, he had no other choice but to leave a small stash of some E-pills and a little white girl and a little brown boy and various other things that were illegal in the prison at the time. Well, not at the time, always. Anyway, he found a spot in the day room. And it was a common spot, but a lot of guys get caught up in the fact that they got respect in the pod and ain't nobody gonna touch their stuff and this and that. Well, listen, man. If ain't nobody looking, if they think they can get it off, they the first ones to hit your stash. That's a bet. Now, OG Bobby J, he saw a vent behind the TV. Now, the TV was, a big TV on wheels and all that. Had a little storage area under it. But behind that, if you move the TV out a little bit, there was a big square vent. And you just had to use your fingernail and unscrew the screws and get them out. And boom, you put something in the vent. So he's like, all right, shit, it's not blowing heat right now. It's the summertime, so I keep the stuff in here for at least through the summertime. And, I pull it out in the winter. And I keep pumping what I got for right now. That's what dude supposedly said. Now, he screwed it back up and he used his fingernail, which I would have probably found a piece of metal or wood and got it a little tighter or something. So, as you know, y'all, there is always on every tier a tier sand. That's the guy that goes around mopping and sweeping the tiers. He goes through every tier. Sometimes jails have budgets, and they might only have one tier sand guy, and that guy goes from A side to B side. He might take care of the whole prison. But in this circumstance, there was one for each pod. Now, this guy, He was an old man, and I think I told y'all old man Rufus. Old man Rufus was stuck on his routine. You couldn't get him out of it. You couldn't break it. He come in the pod after lockdown, and he started dusting. Yeah, y'all dusting. He dusting the TV. He dusting all the tables. Then he started spraying. He started spraying all the tables and desanitizing and making sure everything's clean. Then he started wiping all the poles off, all the handrails in the whole unit. He makes sure everything clean, all the doorknobs, all the inmates' doors and everything. Yeah, y'all. Old man Rufus been at this for the last 15 years. Old man Rufus is already 69 years old, and he ain't got nothing else to do. He don't even want to go home. If he go home, he don't know what he going home to. He don't even know nothing about a cell phone and how to use one. He heard about them, but he's damn scared. I tell you that. Now, OG Bobby J, he stashed, like I said, some pills and all that other stuff in the spot. Closed it up. But he closed it up sloppy, because when old man Rufus started dusting behind the TV and he went to dust that grate that was on top of that vent, it was jiggling. It was jiggling so much. He was like, what the hell going on? And the screws was actually coming loose, and 2 or 3 of them just popped out on their own. And he's like, oh shit, let me put this back together for somebody to get in trouble. And he went to go screwing it back in because he got tools on his cart that he could use. He don't got real screwdrivers, but he got, flat pieces and tools on his little cart that he take around with him for maintenance. He went to fix that, and he was like, oh shit. And he saw OG Bobby's whole stash. Now, get in the comment box, y'all. Tell me what y'all would have done if y'all was old man Rufus. Would you have took all that man's stash and just said, hey, it is what it is, get in blood? Or would you just left it alone and said, hey man, I ain't see nothing because I don't know whose stuff this is, and they probably dangerous? Now, that might have been the right assumption, because that was a lot of stuff. And anybody bold enough to hide that amount of stuff right in the day room and pretty much dare anybody to try and make a move on it or with it is very, very bold. Now, when you make a move like that, you saying it's pretty much me or you. You touch my stash, I'm going to have to unalive you. Well, old man Rufus, in his old age, wasn't thinking nothing about that. He said, hey, listen, man, you know what? I want to feel young again, too. He took 2 of those E-pills. That's it, just 2. And he closed the vent back up, and tied it back, screwed it back up nice and tight, and he left it. Then the next day, OG Bobby J came back to the stash, checked it. He's like, wait a minute, man. I know I had more than this, man. I know for sure I had more pills than this. Somebody messing with me, man. I know it. And he took what he needed for the day out, closed it back up, and again, he did it sloppy because he using his finger. Now, that old man Rufus was feeling the best he had ever felt in his life. Damn near 70 years old on an E-pill. Yeah, popped the E and I'm sweating. Old man Rufus wilding in the pod. He take it back down to his cell, and he just chilling on his bunk. He got earphones in, listening to whatever station he was listening to, and he was grooving. And that was that for, man, old man Rufus. He was like, hey man, I'm in. Hey, I'm gonna hit this little nigga every night. He keeps stashing shit out in the open right there. He hitting his ass. God damn, I feel good. And that will carry on for a few nights. Until finally, OG Bobby J had to put in a call. He had to put a call into a CO and get the lowdown on the cameras. Now, I know y'all like, dang, man, I ain't prison justice. Well, when you a shot caller and you actually making shit pop in the prison, you can make all types of requests with the COs. And he requested to know exactly who keep hitting his spot. And one of the dirty COs found the footage, and they told him. They told him exactly who was doing. Now, when OG Bobby J looked at old man Rufus, he's like, nah, man, Grandpa, come on, man, stop playing. What'd he do to y'all? Y'all just don't like him or something. Well, why would y'all tell me that? They're like, nah, I mean, you can see the footage if you want. Like, it's him. He's the one that's, taking his stuff. He's a tear sand guy, and every night while y'all sleep, he's cleaning up, and we seen him on camera going in there and doing whatever, going and leaving. And you're like, oh, nah, man, you gotta show me that, man. You gotta show me that, man. Damn, man. Damn, you can't have nothing up in prison, man. And you're like, hey, listen. Let's not make a big thing out of this. Let's, hopefully this blows over. Let's just stay out of his way. And you're like, man, now bump that. What do you mean stay out of his way? He taking money right out of my pocket, man. Nah, y'all watch out, man. Watch out, man. Get out the way. Listen, y'all. If y'all want to hear exactly what happened in the instance of OG Bobby J and how he handled himself concerning his stolen merchandise, stay tuned, because there will definitely be a part 2. Alright, y'all. That's going to be it for this video. As usual, this is the Jersey Street Corner Prison Talk Show. I am your boy, Jersey Street Corner, and I'm out. Don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, hype the video, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Alright, y'all.